The year is 1998. The search engine site Google was founded, France had just won the World Cup, and a new artist had released her debut single. In the midst of it all, the landscape of video games knew important milestones as well. The end of the 90s represent an era marked by the development of a first generation of 3D video games. Many developers have tried to hop on the trend, and many of those who miserably failed. From awkward camera angles to quite questionable character design, the industry of video games was in a decisive transitional phase. The company that stood out was Nintendo. For 3 years, they had gathered a creative group of 3 reputed game developers to work on the latest addition to a series of puzzle-adventure games. They had a lot of hopes on this new game, and it turned out that they had casually created what will be known to this day as the most critically acclaimed video game of all time. Introducing The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. It is a story about growing up, and this is a recurring theme tied within the gameplay mechanics. It follows a young character named Link. In the Kokiri Forest, he is known as the boy without a fairy. Much like your typical Disney protagonist, he is different from everyone else, and there's somewhere else he belongs. Every night, he makes the same nightmare, where he sees the princess of a Hyrule kingdom, Zelda, escaping from a greater danger threatening the world. Ganondorf, the villain of a video game. Ocarina of Time proposes a rich narrative which is not only entertaining but challenging to the player as well. The game follows a Link, who has to save the kingdom of Hyrule and the world from the evil man from the desert, Ganondorf. He must travel through time itself to wake 6 legendary sages to defeat the antagonist. The journey includes battling in different temples or dungeons and meeting key characters along the way. Beyond a classic video game, Ocarina of Time can be analyzed through the lens of a late author, Jasper Joule, who stated that video games can be observed through 6 different arcs, and some of them can be noted here. The first characteristic is that for a game to be unambiguous, rules must be set, and here the player has to follow specific chronological steps to attain the final boss. Despite having an impressive extensive playable ground, there are constraints and boundaries which prevents the user from going anywhere else than towards the end goal. Valorization of the outcome is another key characteristic of the game highlighted by the author. This can be referred as attributing greater value to outcomes compared to others. In the game, Link has to fight 10 different creatures, each of them in battles going crescendo. This makes the player aware of higher challenges awaiting and motivates them to proceed further towards the end goal. The theory of a magic circle can also be applied to this game. This theory refers to a moment in time and space where one is detached from reality, where rules from the real world don't exist. Here, when the user interacts as a small elf-like character, the player identifies as this avatar throughout the gameplay and gets immersed in this virtual reality in the kingdom of Hyrule, where saving the world is the mission. Finally, pertaining to the genre of adventure games, key elements such as interactive puzzle solving and explorable lands have been used by the developers to accentuate this feeling of immersion. That's all for this video. Thank you for your attention, and I hope that you have learned something new about this game, which is, to this day, still considered as a pioneer of 3D video games. Thank you.